Yo, what is up, guys out there? The name is Tekken Heat, bringing you guys a couple of crew customization videos that I've done in the past, and the reason for that is because today the people over at Ghost Games has just published an article talking about customization in Need for Speed 2015, and they're pretty much saying that this is all you need to know. There's a lot of in-depth stuff that they're definitely doing that we've already seen, but they're gonna be explaining a little bit more, especially in this article. And I think they said that in a couple days they're actually gonna do more explanation and stuff that they might have missed. So other things, all they were talking about the wheels, and they were saying how it is possible to have a different set of wheels from your front and your rear. This is something that I was always confused about. I was always one that liked, I always liked the balance. So I always liked having my front and rear rims being the same. Maybe the tire width or the wheel size might have been like slightly different, but I always liked it being the same rim. But I do know that there are people out there, and there are, those that really enjoy it, that are going to be looking forward to this. This isn't for everybody in the demographic. It is pretty much those for the people who like it. So I like the fact that they're still doing that they are listening to everybody in the community. There are some people who wanted this, or some people who didn't care, but since there was somebody who wanted it, they're going to put it in. And this was also seen in Pro Street, but it wasn't something that I really did that much. I always just kept it simple. I kept them all the same, but I do know that there are some people who may have done it a little different. Now, something else that they talked about with the wheels, they mentioned how you can customize your tires, your calipers, and your rotors. And I'm curious on if this is just going to be a look thing, or if it's going to have some kind of impact to your ride, because I do know, and they mentioned it later on, is that when you change your exhaust, you're changing the sound of your car. So I'm wondering, it may be changing your tires or changing your brake calipers, if it might have something to do with your handling. Maybe going with a certain tire brand or width, maybe that might affect your handling in a way. And I hope that they actually tell you what's actually happening. Are you going to get an increased handling in some areas? Are you going to get a decrease? Is one more geared to understeer? Is one more geared to oversteer? I wonder how that's going to work out. I hope they really do get more in depth with that, because it seems like a lot of things that they're doing has kind of a purpose, mostly. So they mentioned that. They mentioned how you can go from the wheel sizes from 14 as your lowest, which is very, very small to me. I don't know what kind of cars would be running 14-inch rims, but there's got to be a demographic out there for somebody. And then there's also going up to 22s, so I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing a lot of these on like the muscle cars, for those who really like to increase the height of their car a little, just so their big ass rims can fit under it. It seems ridiculous to me, but again, there's a demographic out there that enjoys it. So I like the fact that they're really doing something like that. It's pretty interesting. But I'm most likely going to be sticking to my 17 to 19-inch rims, since that's a little bit more reasonable. Although 19 is kind of big, but still. Something they also mentioned was the track width. And what I believe they mean is by adding in wheel spacers. And what those are, pretty much these things, these kind of, I guess you call them like blocks, that go in between your rims and your brake rotors. And what they do is they increase the width of your ride. They increase the width of your tires. And I'm actually saying that wrong. They pretty much make it. They pretty much make them. They make your tires look wider. They make it look wider. It's not actually wider, but it's just the wheels are more separated than they would in your stock position. That's what I meant to say. They make your cars more separated from each other, and this is a good performance thing that people do because it allows your car to be more grippy and more planted and stuff. So I don't know the full details of it, but I know it is a great performance handling thing to do. So I'm interested on how far you can actually go. 'Cause I'm pretty sure they're not going to go somewhere completely ridiculous. Like, they measure these things in millimeters, so I think like 50 is one of the highest. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to be doing like 100 millimeter gaps, because that's just ridiculously wide. But if they do, then I'm pretty sure there's a demographic out there that wants something that freaking wide. But I'm pretty sure they're going to do that. Then they're going to be getting some pretty wide fender flares, which from the looks of the game, we are getting. Can't wait for that wideness. Yes. So outside of that, outside of the rims, they were talking about going to the front of your car, and they were discussing how carbon fiber is going to be a thing in the game. And I am so happy because I love me carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is big. Carbon fiber is beautiful. It's the perfect performance upgrade to your car's exterior. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Cannot wait to carbon fiber anything that is carbon fiber optional. Said that wrong, but you know what I meant. So they mentioned you can carbon fiber your hood. They mentioned that you could put on canards and splitters to the front of your car, which are pretty much which I believe like the canards, or however they pronounce it, CANARDS. Let me know how it's actually pronounced. They mentioned how you can add those, and what those are. Pretty much those kind of aero add-ons that you can add on the front of your car's bumper, but more so on the side, that you see on those on those race cars that really try to increase the aerodynamics and the downforce. I like the fact that they're doing that, and the splitters as well. The splitters are also very beautiful, so I like the fact that they're doing that. They mentioned headlights and tail lights, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be more in depth than it was in the Crew, because in the Crew, you normally have like 3 sets of bumpers, but the difference between each of those were the headlights. So I wonder how that's going to go. Now, something else that they talked about going to the rear. Well, before I get to that, the fenders, they were mentioning how you can add on different fenders like we've seen before in different customization gameplays. Your fender flares, your regular fenders, trying to make your car look wider. I really like that. I love me some fender flares. They look beautiful, although it is complicated to do in real life, so I've yet to do that. Hopefully I can one day, but in video games it's gonna be a lot easier to do it, so expect me to put a lot of fender flares on my cars because they are beautiful. So after that, they were talking about the rear, and they were talking about something that really caught me off guard, and that's your sound system. That really caught me off guard because I think they had it in Underground 2, but the thing is, it didn't have an impact to your game. It was just there just to be there. So I'm wondering if they're actually going to have an impact on it to when you're playing music. If they might have a sound system that's more bassy, or that focuses more on the vocals and stuff like that. I wonder if it will actually have an effect, or if it's just going to be for pure looks again. Either way, I'm going to be adding it because it looks good, and it's not like I'm going grocery shopping in these race cars. So if I want a sound system to go in the trunk, I will put a sound system in the trunk because it looks sexy. After that, they were talking about the taillights, which I already mentioned, the exhaust, which I talked about already. But I really love the fact that that's a thing. How you can change your exhaust to change the sound of your car. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be like a big difference where one will just make your sound like extremely freaking loud and the other one like really really quiet, but there will be that kind of gap. There will be the one that will make your car be noticed just from its sound, and then there will be another one that kind of makes you a little stealthy mode where you're just not grabbing all that attention. And I wonder if you can have that effect on the cops. That would be really interesting, but that's also really stretching it, where it's just like if you go by a cop, well, if there's a cop around and you have like a loud exhaust, if it will raise their awareness more. If that's a thing, that would be pretty sick. And also very interesting, because that will mean people are going to be thinking twice before purchasing a certain exhaust, because they might be like, I really like the look of it, but it attracts too much heat. So that would be pretty interesting. I doubt they're going to be doing that, but it's just a good idea to throw out there. Fingers crossed. Then, of course, they also talked about how you can add canards and splitters again to your rear, just like you can the front. And then at the end, they were talking about body kits, which they pretty meant wide bodies. How you can just add wide bodies because it will it's all matching. It all complements one another. It's replications of real life wide body kits like the Rocket Bunnies, the Liberty Walk, and then they're also going to be having some Speed Hunter wide bodies. All going to be very beautiful. I know we all like wide bodies. I know I'm going to be seeing a lot of wide bodies, but I know I'm also going to be seeing a lot of individual aftermarket body kits or body parts added to your car to also just make it more unique and just make it more geared to your style. So that's really all they talked about. We're going to be hopefully getting more information in the coming future, because they did kind of tease in a little how later on they're going to be talking a little more about this. So we might get a bit more surprises. Actually, there was a huge surprise that I read, and they're talking about how you can double stack spoilers. So I really, really, really want to get more information on that, because that sounds mad. If I could put a wing on a spoiler, that's gonna look freaking interesting, if I do say so myself. But anyways, that's all I really have to talk about. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments down below. Do you guys like all these customization sounds? Do you think it's too much? Do you think there could be more added? I'm pretty sure there are people out there who are just like, ooh, they didn't put in this, or they didn't do this. Something I actually really wanted to see though was neon. Like, I hope that hasn't been announced yet, because they're just holding that in their hands, saying like, we're gonna surprise you guys like on release, like bam, neon, because I really love me some neon. It makes me so happy, it makes me so giddy. So please just put in some neon. If not, make it a DLC. I will purchase the DLC just for some neon. Please give me some neon. I really love some neon. But yeah, that's really all I have to talk about. So let me know how you guys feel in the comments down below. If there's something you're really looking forward to, let me know. Like, what are you guys looking forward to the most in Need for Speed's customization options? I'm looking forward at the moment to the wide body kits, because those are just very sexy, and that's something that not a lot of people can actually buy and do in real life. So really can't wait for that. It's gonna look mad. That's all I have to talk about. Until next time, this has been your boy Taking Heat, and I am out. Peace.